Yeah.
Hey. Sure, we're missing a lot of great content.
Make all your comments and then shut out when we talk. She's checking on making sure it's on. We got so paranoid now.
It was open when I came in.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, wait for the red light.
Thank you.
Have a fun meeting.
But good timing on that door.
Oh, here comes somebody. Oh. Hi.
We're just starting. All right. Good evening, everybody. We will begin the meeting of the Yountville Zoning and Design Review Board for Tuesday, September 10th, 2024. This calls to order that meeting. Can we get a roll call?
Member Hinthorn,
Present.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Chair Miller,
Here.
and we will note for the record that Vice Chair Zagorczyk is absent, as well as Member DePosky.
Yes. All right. If you'd stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first order of business is to adopt the agenda. We have one item that is going to be postponed that's on our agenda. Does anyone want a motion?
Yes, if I, excuse me, Chair Miller, Ken McNabb, Interim Community Development Director, members of the board. The item on your agenda, public hearing item 7C, this is design modifications to a residence at 6630 Jefferson Street. We will not be able to consider that item tonight due to a lack of a quorum, and staff recommends that the ZDRB continue that item to your regularly scheduled meeting of Tuesday, October 8th, here at Town Hall, 6650 Yonge Street.
Thank you.
I will make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that's approved. Approval of minutes. Do we have minutes to approve?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did anybody see anything? If nobody saw any problems, I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting June 11th and the special meeting August 27th.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Public comment on matters not listed on the agenda. There's only two people from the public here. All right. That brings us to the public hearings. The first one, adoption of the resolution number 24017, recommending the town council cordially approve a use permit to allow wine tasting establishment along with retail sales in an existing commercial building at 6795 Washington Street.
Thank you, Chair Miller, board members, Ken McNabb again, Interim Community Development Director. For your presentation tonight, we're going to have our contract planner, Carrie Svanstrom, who wrote the report, give the presentation. I thought it might be nice for the board and members of the public for Carrie to start by just giving a quick introduction of herself before she gives her report.
Great.
Thank you, Ken. First, it's a pleasure to meet the board members in person this evening and the chair. It's also a pleasure to be assisting the town of Yountville. My experience is over a decade in government experience and then a decade as a designer and consultant and planning consultant before that. Most recently, I was the planning director for the city of Sebastopol. And before that, the interim director for planning and building for Mill Valley and the senior planner for Mill Valley. I recently relocated, and as part of that, started a consulting firm, Swan Stream Studios, And we've been engaged by the town. I've been working with the town manager and Ken to assist Yountville with several projects. I know you saw the Ponchos was my first review last month, or a couple weeks ago, actually, not even that long ago. And the 3 tonight and a couple of upcoming projects. So I hope to get to know you through this process. And again, pleasure to be working for the town.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Are you ready to give us a presentation on the estate Yountville? Or no, I'm sorry, on the
The first
Hope
one
and
is
Grace.
actually the Hope and Grace.
yeah, Hope and Grace.
And I can start while she brings up the slides.
There we
go. Most of you will probably know Hope and Grace Wines. It is a existing small business in town located on Washington Street. They are looking to relocate to the Washington Square Shopping Center, Building E, which is the standalone building frontmost to the street and just south of Honor Market. The space was formerly the tasting room for Gerard Winery. That use permit has actually expired because use permits expire after a year of not being used, and so it expired in June of 2023. So the application under review tonight is a use permit for wine tasting room with alcoholic beverage sales and a CEQA exemption. Then the exemption is threefold: 15301, which is minor alterations to existing structures; 15303, which is conversion of minor structures; and 15061B3, which is the common sense that it won't have any foreseeable impact on the environment. The existing site conditions, the site itself has a patio adjacent to Washington Street, with a couple of steps up to it, and then the structure itself as part of the Washington Square Commercial Center. The Commercial Center has shared parking throughout for R&D Kitchen and the Honor Market and the other homes. The building itself is approximately 56 square feet, and then the patio itself is beyond that. I believe the Gerard's use permit had 20 seats on the patio. And as noted, was a tasting room for over a decade. Hope and Grace is currently located at 6540 Washington Street. Their lease is ending, and they are looking to move to the Washington Square site. They are not looking to substantially change their operations at all, simply a relocation. So I have a detailing of the daily wine tastings from 9:30 to 5:30, using both the indoors and the outdoor patio. Pickup events, which is they have a lot more often than they do the actual events, but pickup events are generally from 4 to 6 p.m. and during that time, coming and going 30 to 40 attendees. Evening events, they are requesting from 6 to 10 p.m. When those are scheduled, and that would include some auxiliary use of the patio, the outdoor patio, but the main source of the event would be the interior of the space. Any live music would be limited to indoors and acoustic. Generally, their application actually noted guitar, but of course it could be some other acoustic live music. And then they do look to have 25% or so of the space dedicated to merchandise sales. If you've been in their existing, they do have a number of both wine displays as well as other merchandise within it. And then they are looking to do catered, potentially, or cheese plates, but no on-site food preparation, which is similar, again, to their existing setup. Again, no changes to the outdoor patio or the exterior of the building that would require design review. So this is simply a use permit request. no increase of the public space within the building. They would be, the bar has been removed, so they would be replacing that, plus some appliances, doing new displays, new lighting, paint, that kind of cosmetic change, but nothing that substantially changes the way the space functions. We have outlined the seating on there, and I'll let the applicant go into a little bit more detail if you'd like. But in general, the use permit request, and this is outlined in more detail in your staff report, I won't go through it, but it's very similar to the way that Gerard had operated their tasting room. So with that, our recommendation is, this isn't a new wine tasting room, and I do know the town is sensitive to that and keeping things in balance, but it's simply the relocation of an existing tasting room to a space that was a tasting room. So in some ways, it may actually reduce the number of tasting rooms in town. We do recommend some key conditions, limiting the special events to 40 attendees, limiting the patio seating to 12 seats. That's actually 8 less than the Gerard's had approval for, but what the applicant is proposing. Requiring that live music be only indoors and not amplified. Requiring that any outdoor wine consumption on the patio is related to the retail sales. It's a pretty standard condition. And then approving the hours. And then also requiring that they participate in the town's employee parking management program. A couple of things that the ZDRB may wish to consider is limiting the number of special events per month. And I know the applicant, I've had a couple of conversations with Tiffany, and she can explain kind of how much they anticipate doing special events, or any other limits on the outdoor use as part of special events. And then anything else that you may find appropriate for the use permit. Since this is a new use permit, it will be a recommendation in the resolution to the town council that we're asking you to adopt tonight.
Thank you, Carrie. All right. Do we have any questions of staff?
My question, if you can answer it, do we put a number limit on special events of other tasting rooms?
I'm not sure I can completely answer that, but from what I have seen, there are
we do.
definitely limits on. There were limits on the Gerard permit, and I can probably find out what that is while the applicant's doing their presentation. If you'd like to know what that is,
I don't know how that number is achieved. And when we look at a use permit for a tasting room, some are on the east side of the street where they back up to residents. Some are on the west side of the street. Does that make a difference? I don't know how it's decided.
right? So I think, personally, I think in the review of use permits, the neighbor sensitivities and adjacent uses, you obviously have criteria for impacts on adjacent uses, so that's a concern to the town. That certainly should be taken into consideration. This is on the west side of, and doesn't back up to any residential. It has a hotel to the south. But as far as sort of sensitive uses, it's not near any, as Pontius was, obviously, with the residential behind.
I just wouldn't know how to pick a number.
And are we going to hear from the applicant what they're hoping to do?
Yes,
As far?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
My only other comment is thank you for, on the conditions of approval, for splitting out specific conditions for this project at the top. That makes it so much easier to go through. I appreciate that. It's always been a pet peeve of mine. Sorry. Okay, I'm done.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, I had the same question, so.
Would the applicant like to come up and present? Please state your name and your affiliation. Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Tenario.
Is that mic on? There we go.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Tenario. I'm with Hope and Grace Wines, and I'm an owner of Hope and Grace Wines, and this is my husband, Doug Yaris.
Hi, Doug.
He's my speaker. I'm not the speaker. So where you had some questions, or we could...
No, if you have anything about the project that you'd like to speak to, perhaps you'd like to address what kinds of special events you're looking to be able to do and the number of them.
I think we're going to keep it pretty limited. I think we've been in Yountville for quite a long time, and I think with Hope and Grace Wines in our current location, we've done very few events as far as after 6 p.m. Maybe, I'm reaching here, but maybe 1 or 2 a year, possibly. But we just haven't done them in the last 10 years, so I'm not anticipating doing too many. We kind of like to operate during the day, during business hours. We like to kind of keep it limited, a little bit quiet. We're a little bit low-key.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we want to stay, how we've been for the last decade.
So a limitation isn't necessarily going to affect you?
No.
Okay.
You can come up.
Yeah, low key is the word because, I mean, we've been there 21 years, and I think we've had almost the entire 49er team in there at one point. Fred Warner is one of the favorites coming in, but when they're there, nobody knows they're there. So it's very stealth. You know, we don't advertise it. They come in. We like to keep it. Hospitality is really key to us, so smaller the size, the better. And our current new landlords, wonderful family, and we've talked to them about it too, where we don't want to impact their space either. So I think the events will be the same as we've done the last 21 years. You know, nothing, it's almost the same footprint and blueprint of what we've done over those 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
No changes.
That's great.
We primarily do our wine club parties on the inside and during the day. It's usually our operating hours for wine club parties always have been 11:30 to 3:30 on a Saturday, and we'll probably continue to keep it that way. It seems to work out better.
Good.
Yeah, and we hope to be able to use our North Block and Vintage Estates and those places for bigger events
Excellent.
this year. That's what we're going to try to do for 2025.
Good.
Nice.
Okay.
Any questions?
I'm sorry you're having to go through this move, but I'm so glad you found a place in town and that you'll still be part of Yountville because it's always been nice having you in town.
Well, thank you. We feel so lucky. I mean, we really, right?
We
It's
are.
a gift.
As you know, there's nothing available.
I know.
And
So-
they actually reached out to us. And
Wonderful.
we were this close of moving down to the riverfront because the owners down there I grew up with, and they gave us a great offer, but we didn't want to leave Yountville. And so then...
Who wants to leave Yountville?
Yeah,
I know.
so this came along, and we were so overjoyed.
Good.
And so I think it's going to be a really good fit with us.
That's great.
And for the town, too.
And you're going to have, I mean, you're obviously having to cut back a lot on space, but you'll have the same kind of retail element.
Oh, yeah,
Just
for sure.
less.
I love merchandise.
Good.
That's my thing.
Perfect.
Probably more than 25%,
I need to scale it down.
I think.
Yeah.
That's great.
What is the comparison square footage wise to where you are now?
We're currently at about 1,500 square feet, and we're going down to about 1,400 square feet. So
Oh, is that all?
it's about the
That's
same.
significant.
It's just
Oh, wow.
a different shape.
Yeah.
The place that we're in right now is long.
And you make up for it by having the outdoor space, which you don't have currently. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Good.
So anyway, it's exciting.
Excellent.
I'm thrilled something's going in there finally because it's such a prominent and I think beautiful space
Yeah.
in town. And I just think you guys being there and adding some more life to the area is going to be great. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Great.
looking
Be
forward
great
to
see
it.
you come in. Yeah.
I know.
You will.
Yeah.
My office is nearby, so you'll probably see a lot of me. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. So, anything else we need to discuss here?
Do you have any thoughts on the special events? Do we
Sure.
just
So
leave it?
Ken and I were just doing our little bit of research.
Yeah.
And one option is to do 2 per year, which is probably a little limiting should they want to change in the future. The Girard permit was 2 per month, which seems reasonable. It's not every weekend, but it does allow for a couple times a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think 2 per month is totally reasonable. And if you only want to do 2 per year, fine. But I think particularly a space like that, we want to see life and activity happening there. So That doesn't seem unreasonable to me at all.
I think it'd be interesting to know what Jessup has.
Do you have a comment?
Can we ask if the public has comments on this before we start?
Speaking out of turn.
Does the public have any comments on this presentation? No? Okay. Thank you. 2 per month seems reasonable to me, and I think in some ways we should require them to do 2 per month. No, I'm just kidding.
You have to do more.
Do you have okay, good. Okay, good. We got a comment. No, I think that seems reasonable too, and I think that the conditions for Jessup are even closer in proximity to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it feels
Yeah,
it feels
but I don't
appropriate.
know what Jessup's. I don't think they have that many, do they?
No, but it did come up. That was something that,
No, but
that
I
was
don't remember
discussed.
how many it was.
And there were discussions around they had to be tented and blocked, and I don't remember all the details, but it feels reasonable to me to offer that as a limitation.
Yeah, because there's no residential behind it. It's all retail. So,
I'd be good with that.
yeah.
Okay. Does someone want to make a motion?
Let me find
How do I word this?
resolution. Okay, I will make a motion to approve the resolution 24-017, recommending the town council conditionally approve a use permit for wine tasting room and alcoholic beverage retail sales at 6795 Washington Street, and allow 2 special events per month, in addition to the conditions of approval.
We're actually requiring it, aren't we? No. I second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously approved. Thank you. Welcome to the other neighborhood.
When will you, oh, I can't ask you. You have to come up. Never mind.
And just to note that, so this will be a recommendation to town council, since they need to do the final approval. But thank you, board, for your very clear decision.
Excellent. All right. The next item on our agenda is item C, adopt a resolution number. Oh, I'm sorry. Do I need to go to the next one? And
That's the next
It would
one.
be item B, I think the estate Yountville signs, is that correct?
yeah, okay. So I misnumbered it. It's item B, adopt resolution number 24018, approving the sign permits for the estate Yountville to replace / modify 3 signs, Hotel Villaggio sign located at 9481 Washington Street, the Rendezvous Spa sign located at 6495 Washington Street, and a 3rd sign located at 6720 Washington Street, and find the project exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act.
Thank you, Chair Miller. So this is actually 3 separate sign permits in a way. These were originally permitted in 2018, the signs that are being replaced as individual signs. And for some of you who may have been on the board, may recall when they came to you, they came at individual times, at separate times. And I'll go through what the existing sign looks like and the locations. There we go. So the location for the Vintage House is remaining the same. The location for the Rendezvous Spa is actually relocating towards the north side of the building, the northern pedestrian entry. And then the Hotel Villaggio sign they're requesting to relocate to the corner. And if you've seen the signs for this hearing, the Hotel Villaggio sign is generally in the location of where that sign would be. But I'll go on that in more detail. So we are asking for you to approve the resolution, which would approve 3 freestanding signs on 3 separate parcels. And also This has approved the CEQA exemption under Section 15301, existing facilities, 15304, minor alterations to land, because this is they'll have kind of monument bases with them, 15311, minor accessory structures, and 15061B3, the common sense that it won't foreseeably have an impact on the environment. So this is actually the three existing signs that you've seen. Right now they do have sort of the temporary face of what the permanent face is proposed to be over them. At least the hotel and the Rendezvous Spa do. I can't recall if the Vintage House does. I believe it does as well. Mm-hmm. It's part of the rebranding effort the new owner of the estate Yountville is working on. These signs would all be removed, which is in the conditions of the approval, but also part of the sign permit. The existing signs here have external illumination. The applicant is proposing the same type of external illumination onto the face of the sign as part of the new signs. The biggest difference, besides the location, is that they are proposed to be more of a monument sign. And so the Estate Yountville and the Vintage House are proposed to be a brick monument that is, I believe they're both the same size. We'll get to it, but it's about 4 foot tall, 75 inches wide, and then there are two signs that would be mounted onto it. The wall itself would be 12 inches thick, so an actual wall, not just a kind of veneer kind of looking thing with a concrete foundation. The Estate Yountville logo and the Hotel Villaggio and Spa would be on separate sign faces. Those are urethane signs that would have carved either logo or text into it with the coloring on the carved inset. And I do want to apologize. The applicant could not join us tonight, so I can try to answer any questions about the sign details the best I can.
We are not from the Hillbrook sign. We are from the estate.
Oh, perfect. Sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you. The Rendezvous sign is a little bit taller, 50 inches instead of 48, and proportionally so that all three signs meet the 25 square foot size limit, would be 70 inches instead of 75. This would just have the Spa Rendezvous Estate Yountville on it. The difference with this one is that it would be stone, still 12 inches thick, so a foot thick, but that is stone so that it coordinates with the building behind it. The Hotel Villaggio and the Vintage Inn, of course, are both more stucco and don't have that kind of materiality to them like the Spa does. And then the Vintage House Hotel and Spa, again, the same size as the, and actually the same, this one would be in the same location as the current Vintage House Inn sign is, and again with the brick foundation, about 6 feet wide and 4 feet tall. When they originally submitted this, and I have to compliment the Healdsburg Sign Company applicant, they turned around the drawings to the correct allowable square footage that the town allows pretty quickly. We weren't, it was basically the day that, or a couple of days after we talked with them, but enough for us to get that into your packet. So that's a separate attachment, attachment 5, and so you can see what they would actually look like rather than just being a condition of approval. So that was really helpful. So that's why you sort of see the blank out. Don't look at this page, look at attachment 5 for what those signs would actually be. We did still include that as a condition of approval since the original proposal. They had thought it was just the sign faces that needed to be the 25 square feet and the wall was much larger. Again, the urethane signs do not fade the way some other plastics do, and so that's why they're using that with the carved lettering. The lettering themselves, the sign faces are a cream color with the lettering being a more gold tan, sort of the understated colors that are present within the site itself currently. The sign location for the Hotel Villagia, we did review that since it's a new location and right at a corner. Public Works reviewed that for pedestrian and traffic safety. If you sort of look at where the sign is right now, there's obviously a very tall hedge there right now, and so it doesn't block the view any more than that does in terms of safety, and it's behind the sidewalk. So that was acceptable. So we are recommending that you approve the 3 signs with the limit of 25 square feet each. I am requesting a condition of approval that the illumination cut sheets be provided, just so we, at the time of building permits, so we can confirm that that is not going to bleed off the signs and be aimed well. And I'm not sure if the town has seen this before, but I am recommending that the light be not more than 3,000 kelvins. That way it's a warm light and not a sort of a blue bright light. And then there will be a building permit required for the signs, since they have the concrete foundation and they're heavy brick walls.
Is that it?
That is it. Here's the recommendation in text and an overview of the 3 signs, so if you have any questions.
I have a question real quick. Is there any indication on the sign that goes in front of the spa, the rendezvous sign, that the stone is to match the stone on the existing building?
That's what it looked like, but I would recommend adding that to the conditions of approval. That's a very good point, just to ensure that.
Yeah. Sorry, you had?
Continuing that, I wasn't sure if this visual is just a placeholder visual, but I was curious as to why the brick was red brick versus, say, white, since the Vintage House is white brick. So is this an actual?
This is the actual submittal, so so it is red brick that they are proposing. And that was actually one of the questions that, or discussion points for the ZDRB. The Hotel Villaggio has stone fireplaces and stone retaining wall. There's obviously brick in between with the V Marketplace and some of the other structures, Coquetta and that type of thing. And so that was sort of a question for the ZDRB's, brick versus stone consistency.
Several other buildings are that same red brick, too, further north on Washington.
Just when I think of the Vintage House, I just
Me
see
too.
the white brick and the white washed wood, so it just doesn't seem like it is coordinating with the exterior of the building to me, particularly for the Vintage House. So.
And we do have someone from the state here, so my apologies. Any of the sign folks couldn't make it. And I'm not sure if they'll be able to address that question or not.
Okay.
But that may be a good question for them.
We'll call them up in just a moment. Do you have any questions or concerns?
My question is about the location of the spa sign. Is that moving from where it is now?
So their map shows it relocated to the north, but their rendering is in the existing location of the existing sign.
I'm just curious because there was where Silver Trident was, the tasting room that they took over. If they're going to, at a later point, ask for a sign in front of that, what that use is going to be, because they're out of signs.
They would be out of sign square footage at that point.
Right,
Yeah.
and they're aware of that.
Yep.
Okay. That was all for me.
Okay. Should we invite the representative from State Yountville to join us?
Hi.
Hello.
How are you? I'm Emily Farca, the General Manager of the state.
Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. So for the question of the brick, in the Vintage House, all of the buildings for the rooms are all red brick, so that will match those buildings. It's just the lobby that was painted white at a certain point, but the rest of the buildings that face Washington are all in the red brick. So that was the idea on that, and also to maintain like what we have, as you said, in the B Marketplace, Coqueta, and the restaurant.
Okay.
And for us, I mean, the reason why we wanted to relocate is because the guests that come to Yountville, they're always not knowing where to enter for Villaggio, for the spa, and for Vintage House. So we have people going around in circles. So we feel like if we have the Villaggio sign closer to the entrance, people will know that they have to turn there to go to the hotel. And then for the spa, they can go on the next entrance and park there for the spa. So that's the reasoning on those movements, because we see a lot of people getting lost. So we just want to address that and make sure that everybody arrives quicker to their destination.
Okay.
And the location of the spa, the sign for the spa, is that going to be moving to where?
Right by in front of JCB, to that, like closer to Silver Trident, so people understand that the spa is there and they're parking. They have to enter through the right to park.
So it's going all the way down to the corner?
By Silver Trident, yeah, where Silver Trident used to be.
In front of that building?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Just for the cars, so
Yeah.
they don't get confused.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's no indication of where that sign is moving, and the rendering is incorrect. Is that?
No, are you sure?
You mean for the spa sign?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's staying where it is.
on the side. Are you sure?
The rendering shows it in front of.
But the drawing shows it in a different location,
I'm just.
moving more in front of.
Silver Trident. Are you sure? Yeah.
The drawing.
I see. So it's just not circled like the other ones. Okay.
It's one that was online. Let me bring it up. Nope, not that one. So I think the current sign is like here.
I think it's here, right?
In front
That's
of-
the entrance right there. So it's underneath that tree.
Yeah, and it's going down by Silver Trident down there, but not all the way to the corner.
No, just by.
Okay.
Just for the north. Yeah.
Okay.
My name is Rudy Aragin, and I'm the food and beverage director. And the reason why we're going to put the signs on the front of the street is to avoid the traffic, right between the two stop signs. So people usually goes up north a lot. So you create a lot of traffic between the entrance of the grocery market. So we're trying to avoid to have signs so people can just go to the spot, park on the left-hand side, and if people go to Villaggio, park on the right-hand side. So we kind of want to put the signs out there so people also avoid have traffic between those two stop signs.
Just to make it clear,
Make it clear
is the spa parking
Behind the spa.
It's right behind. So
But you have to enter through the right.
Yes, correct.
around? I
In front
forget.
of JCB.
Is that what street is that? Is that Humboldt?
Humboldt, Mulberry.
Mulberry.
Okay.
Is that where they're entering? Is on Mulberry, right by JCB?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, and then the parking's
They
back
park
there.
right there.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any public comment? No? All right. Discussion?
I mean, not a huge deal. I still think it would look better if the sign in front of Vintage House coordinated with the actual main building and lobby and be painted white brick, but we're simply an advisory committee, so it's not something we can require, but just a personal taste there. Other than that, everything looks good to me.
And materially, the other two are fine, as long as, I think I would want a condition that the stone matched the stone of the building that it's in front of.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's a beautiful stone, so I would hope they would match it.
I believe that the stone that's on their rendering is just
placeholder.
what's
Whatever you can
available
get.
to the computer program that produced it.
It would actually make sense to have them all look alike, but If they want to do stone, that's fine.
Well, I can see why they would do stone here since the stone is so prominent on the facade of this building. So I think it makes sense to coordinate the materials.
Sure.
And I agree with town's restrictions that they have to make them within the legal 25 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate their making that adjustment.
So,
Motion?
sure. Let me get organized here. I would make a motion that we recommend, thank you, the resolution of the Town of Yountville Zoning and Design Review Board to conditionally approve the sign permit application for Estate Yountville signs located at the 3 locations as identified, and that we keep with the staff's recommended conditions of approval, and that we add that the stone sign in front of the Rendezvous Spa be matched as closely to the material of the building behind it.
And Chair Miller, excuse me for jumping in.
Yeah.
Just because of the confusion of the location of the spa sign, can you clarify that in your motion?
Yes.
So that there's no confusion.
So do I repeat the entire motion with the inclusion of?
No, just the.
Okay. That the location of the stone sign in front of the Rendezvous Spa is approved with the condition that it is in the current location? No?
Being moved to in front of what used to be Silver Trident, because I don't know exactly what the street number is.
It's hard to tell from the drawings exactly where they're putting it, and it looks much larger in the drawing than it is in reality. But I think that new location should be part of that recommendation.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're actually approving it, not recommending it.
We're approving it.
Correct.
All right.
I will second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. That passes.
Done. Thank you.
Is there more business to do with the third item? Or is that, yeah?
Yes, I doubt that we'll have public comment. Let's have you recuse. Let's ask for public comment. One of you will have to step up to be
Yep.
acting chair. And then we will vote to have a continuance to the next meeting.
Okay.
So I will be recusing myself because of my proximity to the property.
Is that your primary residence?
It's my primary residence.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. Should I stick around for adjournment, or should I?
No, you can go.
All right, thank you.
Okay, item C on the agenda is because of the conflict of interest and Chair Miller having to recuse himself, we do not have a quorum. And so if there's anybody from the public who wanted to comment on that item, we can open up public comment. But since I don't see anybody, I will close that. That will be available again when this item is continued. So I will make a motion to continue this to
October 8th.
the next meeting,
October 8th at 5:30 here.
October 8th at 5:30, and there will be another option for public comment at that time.
No, I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Are there any staff and board reports or anything?
Vice Chair Cook, I did was able to pull up the draft town council resolution for Jessup, and the number of events approved for that use was 36. It looks like it's not the executed resolution, but so you
36, okay.
36 a year?
Yep.
Okay,
Okay, so
that's 2 more.
granting them the option for 26. And they can always come in and ask for more, but it seems like that will more than suit their needs. Okay, thank you for taking the time to do that, because I do not have that number in my head. Okay, would somebody like to motion to adjourn? Thomas?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Good night, everybody, and thank you.
Thank you.